how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions on a knife from Kansept Knives. I don't want to belabor this point, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. The way they present these knives is really, really nice. So I'm just going to mention that and say that although this is not anything super duper special, it's just a box that opens a little bit differently, but it's a really nice touch, and it's a touch that I kind of appreciate. Now, let me get to the knife itself. There we go. I would say right off the bat, nice looking knife. This is the Kansept Accipiter, and this is a knife that I've had on my list for a long time. In fact, so long that when Kansept was first kind of coming around and starting to be noticed, I was talking to them and they were going to send me a couple of knives for review, including this one. However, instead of getting those knives, I got this piece of paper. This is a notice of seizure. I folded it so that you can't see my name and address and all other personal details, but this is not the kind of piece of paper you want to get. The other problem is this paper took over a year to get here. So the knives that Kansept was sending me were seized almost a year ago, perhaps a little over a year ago. And it took that long for them to process the paperwork. So really, really frustrating, because until you have this piece of paper, right, you can't really do anything about it. And there is a way to handle this. You can have the items shipped back to their recipient, or to a someone, a third party that's willing to sort of act on the sender's behalf. And so that's what my plan is with these two, the knives that Kansept had sent me. Okay, so I'm going to get them sent back, but it's been a really, really long meantime. Okay, so the reason that was bothering me is because, look, here's this company. They have put themselves out, they have incurred a cost by sending these knives to me for review, and then no review happened. And I didn't even have paperwork to show them. All I could do was send them a message saying, look, I'm really sorry to have to inform you, but these knives have been confiscated. And so this sort of puts it right. So now I've got the knife, even though it's not the original one they sent me. I went out and bought this one so that they're not out anything, and I can share this knife with you and give it the attention that it deserves, and the attention that I sort of promised Kansept that I would give it. So here we go. This is the knife that we're talking about, and I wanted to give that story just because I wanted you guys to know, I've been feeling a little bit guilty about this, and I wanted to make sure that I eventually did it. Now, I've got some other Kansept knives in the meantime. The problem was the variation of this that I wanted was just never in stock from Justin over at White Mountain Knives. So we finally got some, and I was able to get my hands on one. Anyway, here we go. I want to first of all point out that, from just an aesthetic standpoint, from the look and feel of this knife, this is my favorite of their designs, and a number of people have pointed out that the Accipiter is the nicest of the Kansept knives, and I'm inclined to agree with that. I've had a couple of others that I did like, and they tend to be doing, in terms of companies that are just making stuff, they tend to be doing a pretty good job. Their quality is really, really good, and the action that I've experienced anyway in all of their knives has been very, very nice. So I thought, I'll put that out there as well. But I do think this design, just because of its simplicity, stands out from the crowd. This I find just a little more broadly appealing, and to me this is a knife that kind of connects with me on a deeper level than most of the other stuff that they have had. All right, so that's all of the background, and I know that's a lot of background for a first impressions, but I wanted to put it out there. I will do a full review where I compare this to some other knives and talk about its performance, but for now, let me just give you a quick rundown. So we've got S35VN up front, drop point blade, a bit of a swedge, flat grind, a very slight recurve here. I'm not sure if that's an accidental or on purpose recurve. Doesn't really matter. To me, it doesn't bother me that much, and in fact, it almost, when you kind of look at that blade, it actually makes it look kind of attractive. They've done a decent job on the plunge grind here, and of course we've got a stonewash finish, which is not my first pick, but it's not that bad. All right, over here on the handle itself, let's close the knife so we can look at the handle. All right. It is a front flipper, by the way. We have this raindrop carbon fiber that's pretty decent carbon fiber. You can see a couple little hiccups in there, but it's not bad at all. Titanium frame lock, no internal milling. All right, just whoops. There you go. You can see it's just one solid piece of titanium, milled clip, backspacer construction, and it is on bearings. The lock bar is very, very accessible, and the action is really, really nice on this. So, from a user standpoint, this knife is a huge win. Everything is comfortable, everything is smooth, and the ergonomics on this knife are really, really good. It just feels so nice in hand. So that's a quick rundown of kind of what this knife is and what you're getting. I haven't given you the specs, so let me throw those out there here for a second. We have by the way, with that no internal milling, I should point out that the weight on this is 4.45 ounces, which is not insane. All right. Honestly, it feels a little dense, but 4.4 ounces is not a big deal at all. All right. 8 3/16 overall, 3.5 inches on the blade, 4 11/16 when closed, and that's measuring to here, not to here. All right. 4 inches of grip area, which is quite generous. And so overall, yeah, really, in terms of a knife that you're going to use and carry, they've done a really nice job. It feels good in hand. The blade is nice, attractive, useful. You know, the recurve is not so aggressive that you're going to have a hard time sharpening it. So overall, I'm pretty darn impressed with this. And I also like the design an awful lot. So first impressions, I think Kansept has done a really nice job here. You know, the quality and action and fit and finish has been impressive on all of the Kansept knives that I have handled. I'm sure somebody out there has had one that wasn't great, but this thing is pretty stinking good. Okay, and I have to say, very enjoyable front flipper. And I'm not always, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of front flippers. I can take it or leave it, but here it does pretty darn well. And so overall, I actually would say this would make a pretty nice EDC sort of gentleman's knife. You know, this is not the knife I'm going to take out in the jungle and try to survive with it, but for daily pocket use, really, really well done. So thanks a lot, Kansept. That's a really nice looking knife you've got there. And if you're watching this, they did still have some over at White Mountain Knives last time I checked. Hopefully that's still the case. You can save yourself 10% off using my discount code. And again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will talk to you soon.